Simon, show me your ID. Do you have your FAA license, your 107 license? No, do not run. I got my body camera on. No, please don't run away. I'm going to arrest you. I'm calling the police. No, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. Okay, not meant to be used as an action camera. So this is the CAMMHD, I believe. This body camera. I'm holding it right now. I got some adequate light. See how the mic sounds as well. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it yet, but definitely probably will do the job. I won't say definitely, but I think it would suffice for most applications flying drones. And you can be the judge of it. I haven't really looked at the footage too in depth, so we shall see. I know there's better body cameras out there. I inquired on some, but some they won't sell to the public. They'll only sell the military and the police, essentially. So there's that. This is sometimes a little challenging to remember what button powers on and what button actually starts the video. And then the screen goes black, and I always wonder if it's still recording, but I guess you just have to trust the little camera, which I haven't gotten my trust up with it yet. So I'm going to review the footage today, and I'll talk about it a little bit and let you know about this camera and if it is something that I think makes sense. But it doesn't seem like a bad little camera for roughly $130, I believe it was. Got it off of Amazon, and it has a 64 gig internal storage. Supposedly it shoots 4K. This is recording at 4K right now. I don't know how great the 4K footage truly is, but regardless, it has that resolution, or that file size, I should say. But we'll see. All right, bye. What's going on, guys? So today's video is going to be about flying drones and body cameras. So right here, I have a body camera that I purchased. I recently, while flying in Chicago, got assaulted by a security guard. Got a lawsuit going on right now. Attorneys are taking care of it, but it was a really scary, crappy situation that escalated really quickly with an unhinged security guard who got really handsy and started pushing me and tried to rip the keys out of my car, and just really escalated in a way that it shouldn't have, especially for just simply flying my drone to capture some sunset footage. So pretty scary, and with remote ID coming along, it's going to be something that I think is going to be mandatory when you're flying. And I know a lot of people aren't really talking about body cameras and flying drones, but I am. And actually I forgot the guy's channel's name, but nice guy, and I saw he happened to do something on a body camera. And I have a feeling, since I had a situation happen to me, my take is going to be a little different than maybe his or someone else. So this body camera is pretty crucial in recording evidence and having proof, because I didn't have any footage until the point when I got my phone in my hand. I was actually flying my Mini 3 Pro at the time this incident happened at Navy Pier in Chicago. So I didn't have my phone for the one time with me, so I couldn't record anything. Footage prior to my iPhone footage was about 5 to 10 minutes of him pushing me and nudging me and bumping me back to my car and grabbing me and being really, really handsy when I was asking him nicely to not touch me. The footage I got on my iPhone only showed a certain point. The whole point prior was him actually initially touching me, putting his hands on me, chest bumping me back to my car really aggressively to where I was almost losing my balance. And it just, as I said, escalated and got really scary and unpredictable to knowing what was going to happen. I mean, you had that Tyree incident when he was literally photographing a sunset and he got killed, unfortunately. So that's a really extreme, but that was 6 police officers who killed an unarmed person. So with all this stuff that happens in the world today, in this crazy world today, you really don't know what's going to happen and what's going to unfold. And when you see someone like a security guard pushing you and touching you and not listening to you and trying to make demands of you when it's not even within his right, it kind of raises a huge red flag. So for me, I just tried to get out of that situation as quickly as possible, but I really wish I would have had a body camera on. I think this would have diffused a big part of that entire thing, having this body camera that looks tactical front and center on my jacket. I think it would have been a huge thing that would have prevented him from doing anything like he did. So this is why I bought one, and this is why I won't fly, especially in the city or anywhere really populated without this on me. So the one guy that I saw today talking about it, you know, he's reviewing the footage quality and all of those kinds of things, doing a full-on review. I'm not going to necessarily do a full-on review of this. This is what you would get if you actually bought it. It's called a CAMMHD, C-A-M-M. It has a 64 gig internal drive. Okay, so let me see. I wrote down a couple things. So you will have 12 to 14 hours of video, but what really is important is that once it stops recording, or once the actual internal memory fills up, it's just going to go ahead and rewrite over the first beginning footage. So until you have a situation, that's really the only thing you're going to need to worry about, is that actual footage of the situation. So to me, that's perfect. There's no need to buy the bigger capacity because I don't really care. I just want it to write over whatever it is. And if there's a situation, then I'm going to stop and recover the footage. 2, I can password protect this. So I have right now, here's the cable that it comes with. So you'll get in the box. So you see, nice little box, nothing major. Ordered off of Amazon. Of course, we'll put my affiliate link below so you guys will have it. You get the little instruction manual, which is pretty basic. You get a couple little clips. This is a clip like this. I have one, or I have the other one on this, so I can clip it on like that. But this guy is, I think, you can try both, figure it out. But to me, this just seemed to work well. I clipped it right inside my jacket. We'll see what happens if I'm just wearing a t-shirt. So if I'm wearing a t-shirt or something, maybe I would put it on my necklace. Ooh. Let me see if I can do this. There we go. Hawaiian style, sunrise shell style body cam holder. But you can see, pretty simple, not a lot to this thing. Again, the little charger, and that's it. This is what's in the box. So pretty basic, but the thing is, let me throw this stuff back in. Some of the key things, 12 to 14 hours out of the battery, so that's pretty darn good. Figure you're going a whole day. You can go ahead and turn this off if you're not needing it. You do not have to worry about the internal memory filling up, because if it does, it's just going to write over the files and just continue on recording. And of course, if you do have an incident, that's when you would stop. But the key thing is there's a password protection on this. So if someone were to take this, they can't actually recover the files without you having the password and giving it to them. So when I go ahead and mount this right here, this is where you actually plug in on the top little port. I'll show you guys. So you can plug this in. I don't know how long it takes to charge, or you can plug this into your computer and it will mount as a drive. So really simple to pull and retrieve the files off this thing. And when you do, it will prompt you to put in the passcode. So it has a 6-digit passcode, I believe, and I go ahead and put it in. So if a cop or someone got into the wrong hands, they can't actually delete your files or do anything until they have that passcode. So that's a really key feature in my opinion. So that's awesome. Easy to retrieve the files. That's awesome. The internal memory is good enough because, as I said, it's going to write over everything. So that's no big deal. It has a waterproof rating of IP68. So this thing can handle some moisture, some rain, some snow without an issue. It has a back LCD, so you have that. On the side buttons, you have a record button. You have a microphone, so you can just simply use it as a recorder, and the audio is pretty good. I'm going to play some stuff for you in between the edits so you can kind of get an idea. When I was driving home from the city today, I did a little blip. I'll throw it in here so you can kind of see the quality of the video and hear the audio of just me driving in my car. It's not going to be amazing, but at the same time, it's good enough. I look like doo-doo, and it kind of isn't a pleasing camera because it's just this little kind of average 4K resolution camera, but I didn't even talk about that. This does have a 4K file size, so it's like whatever it is, 36, whatever the file size for 4K is. And we have, what else do we have on this guy? I think we have this little guy. Oh, this is the infrared, so we got a little night vision light. We have this. So that may not seem like a big deal, but if you're having a situation, this can actually get a little attention and maybe scare someone away, or at least know you're not messing around. And with that being said, the reason I would buy this over just using a GoPro or some kind of action camera is because the psychology behind wearing this to law enforcement, guess what? They're going to recognize this way more and not look at you like some kook who's just a vlogger or something wearing an action camera or GoPro. They're going to know you kind of are meaning business and playing at a different level because maybe you had something happen to you like I did to me. So I could explain kindly to the officer that I'm wearing a body camera because I got physically assaulted at one time flying my drone. And I don't want that to happen. And I'm using and wearing this for my safety. So just looking at this, it's a much more rugged, tactical look and feel than a Hero 9 or Hero 11 or some Osmo or something. So that's not really the route I would go. For $130, I believe this was. I'll put a link below. This really isn't a review over this camera per se. It's just talking about why I think body cameras are going to be a really important role in flying your drones, especially when a remote ID hits later on in September this year. When people can go ahead and locate where you're flying, there's a lot of angry people in this world. And you know, who's anyone to say they're not going to go and try to just mess with people flying drones? So why not prepare yourself a little bit and have something just in case? Maybe carry a little can of pepper spray. I know a lot of people talk about conceal and guns, but I personally wouldn't want to go there. For me, that would be outside my comfort zone. So to have maybe a little can of pepper spray, like a tactical can of pepper spray where it actually do some damage and it would actually, you know, mace someone in a way that it would like fog them, as opposed to just a little, you know, teeny keychain one. But to have maybe something like that and a body camera would be a really good way to kind of defend yourself in case something were to happen. That would be the last thing that I'd want to do while flying my drone, is have to pepper spray anyone. But at the same time, this is really a good thing to protect yourself, to record what's happening. And I think people knowing they're being recorded will probably act a little differently than knowing they can get away with it like the security guard did with me. The minute I had my iPhone in front of him, he changed his tune completely. Of course, he said that I put my hands on him first, which was totally not true, and just started making up stuff. So these guys can be really slimy. People can be really deceptive and just crappy and not nice. So that's why we wear this. But knowing that it's password protected, knowing that the memory just writes over itself so you never have to really worry about the internal memory, that know that you have this little alert button, that's kind of cool. You can mute all this and you could customize all of it. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of about it. But the key points of this are, it is important to have something that police and security guards and people in that field can maybe recognize immediately, like this, as opposed to an action camera. So there is a main reason for buying that guy. The audio is good enough. I think the video quality is good enough. You guys can be the judge of that. It's not an action camera, so don't expect amazing stabilization. I'm not planning on running and chasing people with this, so of course, I'm not a police officer. My needs aren't going to be doing that. For me, it's only going to be used for me flying and standing and walking. Maybe you can use it as a dash cam if you want, but I'm not going to hopefully be running with this thing on, needing to get great footage. So it's not an action camera. Don't expect that kind of quality out of it, especially for this price range. But for $130 off of Amazon, it's tactical. I dropped it today. No real issue. It's rugged. It has a solid, nice feel, a nice look to it. It's easy to clip on without noticing it being too heavy or anything. And yeah, you got low light vision on it. So you got the infrared for the night. You got a low light option as well. It does record 4K for whatever that's worth. And you can buy a 64 gig internal memory, which I have, or for a little bit more, the 128 gigabyte internal memory. But for me, it makes no sense because it's just going to go ahead and write over the footage. And until you have a situation that you need the footage for, then you just stop and that's it. So it's strictly for that purpose, nothing more. I'm not going to go and record moments or chasing my kitty. But you could even see in the opening clip that was kind of fun with me with Simon, it's not that bad. You can see everything happening. You could tell that I'm chasing my kitty around. And yeah, so on a little fun note, fly safe, stay safe. I'll put the link below to this guy. I think it's a good little investment. I'm sure there's a lot of other cameras out there. I've talked to some people that have higher end ones for the police officers. A lot of places don't even sell to the public. So they have different communication devices, I believe, where it has GPS, which I don't need. It does stamp mark this thing or date mark it or whatever. So on the bottom of the footage, it will show the time and the date. So that's really nice to have on the actual footage itself. So the CAMMHD 64 gig, yeah, I think it's good enough. You know, that's all you need. You just need something to protect yourself when you're flying, especially when you're around a lot of people or you have a situation that may arise. There's a lot of people out there that just aren't familiar with drones. I always think we should be drone ambassadors and explain and be kind to people if they're coming up to us, but some people just don't give us that opportunity and they're not happy. And that's when this is just going to protect ourselves. Because it was a really scary situation when I got assaulted in the city because, like I was saying, you don't know what can happen. They tried to physically drag me out of my car by pulling my leg and trying to rip my keys out of my car. Who knows what would have happened if I wasn't able to actually drive away and take off? If I would have got dragged out of my car, would I got kicked in the head? Would I have gotten, shot? You have no idea. Things happen and you see how crazy it is out there and people are angry, people are unhinged, people can't practice and keep their self-control and it's sad. So for those kinds of situations, this is when the camera is going to be really important. And with remote ID, as I said, coming up for us drone pilots later on in September, this is going to be mandatory. So with that being said, my light just died. That's a signal to stop and subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, comment. It all helps this channel grow, reaching 4,000 subscribers, hopefully sooner than later. And thanks for the support and get yourself a body camera. I'll put my link again in the description below. That actually helps support the channel a little bit. And I don't think you'll go wrong. And regardless, you have 30 days to return it with Amazon if there is something you don't like. So let me know what your thoughts are and fly safe and be good out there. Bye.